right, welcome back. Let's dive into the next topic this morning. The former Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, has said that a friend of his has offered to pay 50 million naira ransom to kidnappers to rescue the release of the 5 remaining sisters who were abducted in Abuja. Nigerians on social media had started a fundraising campaign for the ransom to seek the release of a lady identified only as Nabiha and 5 of her sisters who were abducted in their house in Abuja on January the 2nd, 2024. However, the ex-minister Pantami disclosed in a tweet on his X handle on Sunday that a friend of his, whose name was not mentioned, has offered to contribute 50 million naira to their release. Following the abduction of 6 girls in the Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, one of the identified as Nabiha was reportedly killed by the abductors. In the early hours of Wednesday, January the 3rd, 2023, a user Adamu _Asiya_, who identified herself as a cousin to the kidnapped sisters, announced the kidnap, noting that her uncle was killed in the process. 2 days later, after her first tweet, she informed the public that the father of the girls was released by the kidnappers with a ransom of 60 million naira placed on the lives of the Najiba and her sisters with a deadline given. Stay with us here, right here in the studio, is Mr. Aki Fatike. Now, I'm going to come to you almost immediately. Isa Pantami, he's not new when it comes to the politics of Nigeria, particularly from the last administration, owing to the fact that he was the former Minister of Digital Economy, Digital Communications. Is this the way to fight this insecurity in Nigeria?
Thank you for asking me, David. And please let me start from the humanistic role. My heart bleeds, and I know all our hearts bleed as positive-minded Nigerians and friends of Nigeria at what has happened to Nabiha. What has happened to Nabiha, is it anything different from what happened to the Chibok girls? Some of them were still in captivity. What has happened to Nabiha? Any different from Leah Sharibu? We still don't know what has happened to Nabiha. Anything different from those boys at Buniyadi who were slaughtered, come down to the Bethel kidnap and what have you? Has anything changed? We cannot be playing the same fiddle and expect that we are hearing different tunes. So my heart goes to Nabiha. Having said that, my next layer will be in whatever way, whether it's Pantami and his friends wants to contribute to securing the release of the remainder five that was abducted in Buhari. Whatever it is, please, let's secure their lives. Now, do I think this is going to the roots of the problems? No. Nigeria is in trouble. Nigeria is not working. We don't have adequate security. And my fear is that, like, I think it was Abacha who said, when things like this continue to go, then you have the hands and legs of people top there, in it. A shame to our security architecture and the fact that we need to declare a state of emergency in that sector. And before we declare state of emergency, I think those who are ruling us, again, the deficit of the Gulf of Trust. We don't trust them. Budget monies, perhaps wrongly in my opinion, and then the rich continues to be richer. National Assembly at the state government level, we are just not there. Parts of the kidnappers and the hoodlums, what they are reacting to is all this malfeasance. take it or leave it, that we see in society. We don't seem to have men and women who will stand and be counted by way of character. Now, specifically to Issa Pantami. Mr. Issa Pantami, thank you very much. Moses was challenging me the other time when I say thank you. I don't know whether you should really be thanked, as if you want to talk clearly to you, but I will still have to thank you. If an armed robber came into my house and asked me to raise my hands, and then I raised my hands, I said, I would have killed you. I would have just shot you. And he refused to shoot me. On his way out, thank you for sparing my life. Again, a cultural thing. Nobody is bold enough to want to just sacrifice life just on the altar. But Alhaji Issa Pantami, your antecedents, unfortunately, has sent a few shock waves to the minds of a lot of Nigerians who are discerning. Don't forget, you will have changed course now. As the Minister of the Digital and Technology at that time, I know before you came on and Buhari appointed you, you were a little bit of a fundamentalist. And that's the truth. Now, if you have shed that toga, I expect that shedding that toga with the superior knowledge you have, and I give it to you, the superior knowledge you have in that space, and nothing has been done. What is it that you are doing right now? Whether it is telephone conversations between the kidnappers and they can be traced. Remember, they can be traced. So if that is not done, we are just playing.
Now,
we are playing.
Talking about telephone conversation, let me come to Ola Daniels now. We do know that the former minister, Issa Pantami, did say he did introduce the linkage, yes, the NIN. Yes, he did introduce the linkage, as that would have been a way to combat terrorism, abductors demanding for ransom and tracing such monies. Now he has also come out to say that the reason that hasn't worked is because the security agencies have not used it very well. Now, first off, how do you feel about this? Nigeria financing terrorism through kidnapping, and the fact that the NIN thing that a lot of Nigerians went through harrowing times to register isn't even curbing insecurity that it was supposed to curb. Barrister.
It is interesting. Let me put it that way.
All right. I think you have a standing fan around and it's interfering.
Okay, my apologies. 30 seconds.
All right then. It will just give you 30 seconds to rectify that, because the movement of that is interfering with the sound. If you deal with sound, you can tell where interferences are coming from. Now, while we wait for him to do that, let me quickly go to okay, he's back. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was saying that is interesting because they put Nigerians in such a mess during the registration of NIN and all that. And then some of us told them that, look, is it that we don't even know what we're doing? There are so many avenues in which government had come to say people should harmonize their data. We had BVN. We have, if you go on your phones, you want to register your SIM, you know what you go through to register your SIM. You know what you go, you see, all those things, then NIN came and it was messy. Now, reality is done. Because they were saying, in fact, it's the same administration that said nobody should pay terrorists. And in fact, they were making it a criminal. Now reality is done. This same minister, a former minister of the same administrations that were fighting this, is the same person coming to the public to tell us that somebody is friend He's about to pay 50 million. His friend to pay 50 million. The question is it his friend or reality is done and he has to pay that money? But he has to come out to say his friend. Now, I think I really, for personally, I will want a probe into this. I want this to be investigated. We want to know now. Reality is done. They have to pay money to get their own out. There are a lot in the coffin of the kidnappers. We are still talking about Alimo. We are still talking about several people that they are not being free just because perhaps their people could not afford the ransom being demanded by these kidnappers. We still have people like that. And if we are encouraging terrorists or terrorism by giving them what they are asking for as to ransom, I think we should be concerned. Now, reality is done. Because sometimes they come with some of these policies, some of these laws, when it has not affected them. So when it comes to their doorsteps, we can see action. Whether it's his friend that paid the money, whether it's the one that paid the money, this is a minister. And it's very shameful for him to come out to the public to tell us what has happened. It means that all the things that they have put in place, the registration of name and all that, because if you claim that these people, they have phones that they use, so who is to trace
that they use?
People?
All right, then. Thank you very much. They also have bank accounts, and you can BVN is there. It should have been used to trace these transactions. But information just reaching us has it that a bus moving from Benue to Enugu was stopped, and 45 persons were kidnapped from the bus just this morning, and those kidnappers are already asking for ransom. Yeah, this is coming on the heels of Nigerians on social media trying to raise money to pay for the ransom being demanded for Nabiha and Najiba and Nahidra, the sisters. It's interesting that these girls are doing good in the university. Yes. Nabiha was a 300 level student. The other sister, Najiba, is a 500 level student, and the other one, Nadhira, is also a 200 level student or thereabout. We also, we have, let's not forget, Babatunde Abdulaziz. He's still part of this conversation. Babatunde, you're a young person, and how does it make you feel that the young ones are, going through this in today's Nigeria?
Thank you. First of all, I'll tell you, this is a situation that probably saddens my heart, and I must tell you the truth. There's no way you probably you'll be happy. It's a sad situation. But having said that, the truth remains that our country needs a community policing. We need to restructure our security architecture in order to get the root of some of this, in order to get to the root of some of this mess. No family will watch their loved ones being killed or even kidnapped and wouldn't want to pay any ransom. I do not blame those who want to pay, who are probably coming up with the issue of ransom and all. But meanwhile, we the people ourselves, we need to also help security personnel, because a whole lot of these things, it's only apart from we talking about kidnap, we're facing, we're already exposed from the time of our insurgents and all of this. Looking at the hardship in the country and all of this again, a whole lot of people will feel it's just an easy way out to make some money and all. But I must tell you, like I said, I so much believe in the community policing, because we the people have to play a major role. In as much as we are putting everything on government, but I have to also tell you that government can't do all. Haven't because one of the easiest way to secure yourself is also you being able to you being cognizant of your neighbor, your community, and your surrounding. And I must tell you that it's high time we put all of these things in our hands if we want a more secured country. We must not just leave it at the fact that the people in government or those in charge of our um, security and all and everything. And I'm always a bit, I find it so difficult to talk about anything relating to security in most cases. That's because of the situation we have already found ourselves. So I understand that people are also afraid to even discuss all of these things. But like one of the last speakers said, it saddens our heart when we have had like the former minister for communications, where a whole lot of money invested in the issue of NIC, BB, and all of these things, and we cannot still get some things done. We have developed countries. We have seen how they try to track criminals, adding criminals or even kidnappers and all of these things. But I want us to know that it goes beyond we watching a movie and all of these things. Because I will tell you that we are already in a delicate and dilemma situation, a dangerous situation. It's meant it's a problem that we all have to tie our hands together.
All right.
We must not one side of the like government or security. Even we ourselves as people, as citizens, we need to take this thing very serious.
All right.
If
We
we
should
have
indeed take it very seriously. That's the call now.
Okay, Mr. Olayin Kaolade, I still believe you're with us. Because of time, we will try and see how best we can get your concluding thoughts. And I'm going to come with you now on this one. April the 27th, the Senate passed the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013, amended bill in 2022 into law. Now, this particularly amended Section 14 reads thus: anyone who transfers funds, makes payment, or concludes with an abductor or kidnapper or terrorist to receive any ransom for the release of any person who has been wrongfully confined, imprisoned, or kidnapped is guilty of a felony and liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 years. Now, this is the law. A former minister is saying his friend is offering to pay 15 million. Your concluding thoughts on this? Should the federal government on this declare a state of emergency on security?
Well, there was a long awaiting action. We've been expecting state of emergency in the place of security because year in, year out, we've been having this. And this just, for a while now, we probably, we had a timeout, but now we are back to this. And I think it is important that all hands must be on deck. And I think federal government should declare state of emergency in security to see how this can be fixed. And also going by the law, nobody is above the law. And I think as we speak, some of the people on social media ask.
Thank you.
All right then, unfortunately, we had to let him go at that point. Let's stay with you now, Mr. Akin Fatunke. Here we are. So now, you just heard the news, the 45 people. Do you think these people, these kidnappers, are being emboldened by what they now see on social media? There is a clamor to raise funds for them. Don't you think more people would even see this as a viable means of making money?
I know more people are going to do that before we finish your newsreel. It's not my prayer, but I know we are going to have more. And
so have we done something
It's
wrong
happened in Buhari, it's happening in the Aba Enugu Road. And let those who stand, okay?
Take heed, lest they fall.
Take heed lest they fall. Lagos, the other states that we have in this country, lends credence to what Olayinka was saying. We need to declare a state of emergency. Going beyond declaring a state of emergency is to be humble enough to go for community policing, like Afiz was saying, reform the police like day before yesterday, and get our local governments and chieftaincy and our obas, obis, and emirs to now be fit for purpose, other than wearing regalia and desecrating some of our cultures. Now, Nigeria is negotiable. And I think this constitution that we are operating is not working for us. The spate of kidnappings and abductions suddenly resurfaced immediately after the elections. I am more than convinced that the people that are supposed to be fighting this and non-state actors have their hands in very much into this. I was at a radio station sometime last year, and a call came in. And when the call came in, and I spoke, I don't want to mention name. He's been negotiating on behalf of the previous government with. I said, may I ask you a question? If you studied in Ahmadu Bello University, please understand the fact that I studied in Ahmadu Bello University. Asking us to negotiate with terrorists. You've gone into their enclave. You've been with them, you've eaten with them. The Katsina State governor did one or two things. Just doing a bit of tinkering here and there will not resolve the situation. We need to overhaul this constitution. We need to declare state of emergency in virtually 2 or 3 areas in all the SDG 17 goals. One will be education, of course. Second is security, medical tourism.
I'd like to have your thought on something. I'm sorry to cut you. I think personally, right, you should also help us talk into this situation. There is the national identification number, that's NIN. There is the BVN. These two instruments are supposed to be used for our security, particularly when people pay ransom. Now, we just read out what the Senate passed as law. When people ask for ransom, when these non-state actors ask for ransoms like this, it is not paid in cash. How do we checkmate these people using this NIN and the BVN? Because it's becoming a trend, just like you rightly said. It's becoming a trend.
David, we are not ready. You are given a prescription that I think I am sold on. All of us are sold on it, maybe because we are not kidnappers. But those who have their hands and their legs into this will make sure they devise ways and means that this will not work and will not be a contaminant. Did we not know that in the linking exercise that we wanted to do under Pantami, when Nigerians were trooping and people were dying, so that there was a much more efficient way to go around it? Of course, we knew Nigerians are doing fantastically well outside this country in this field and other fields. But when it comes to Nigeria, because of interests that are not altruistic, we will not get there. We know who the kidnappers are. We know those who are paying ransom, even when we have asked for help. And UAE sent us a list of the people that are. What have we done about it up till now? It therefore tells you that we are not serious, and we are not serious in tackling these issues. Like Yinka, I think it was, who said, Ola Yinka that said this, it is now coming to the doorsteps of the high and mighty. And you know what? These terrorists, permit me to say, are also they are children. They are children in the sense that you know where you should go and target. If you want to go and catch out some of these people, go out there. Don't go to Buhari and start to, what all the same, I want to plead with you, terrorists, you've killed Labiha. Please don't kill this other five.
Don't kill this.
Yeah.
The guys that have been kidnapped out there, you want money. And that's one of the reasons why I keep on saying our hypocrisy in this part of the world is gross. So many people are paying ransom in spite of the law, including the lawmakers.
Unfortunately, sir.
They are paying ransom and they are not getting to the root of it. What is the root of it? Can we ask for help?
From
Can we ask for help? Mr. President, can we now ask for help? This is going beyond what we can do.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we do have responses from our YouTube page, and we'd like to, take the responses from our
Yes,
viewers.
let's take some responses. Ola says, is Nigeria complicit in the going on in the country, or what is going on in the country? That is what he meant to say. I say yes, because lots of lives and lots of souls are perishing to the bandits. Now, Adewale says, do you know that the National Assembly members undisclosed their contact to the public that elected them? And this one says, based on the career politicians' workable theory, weaponizing poverty is advantageous because people become more dumber. Now, speaking of weaponizing poverty, do you think that for the ex-minister to announce his friend's intention to, pay the ransom, is it also a wake-up call for other, individuals to go into kidnapping and terrorism based on the hardship people are currently facing in Nigeria?
All right, we might need to respond to that in 1 minute because we are basically out.
There's no job.
Yes.
There's poverty. There is no hope. There's trust deficit. What do you think somebody will now then do without going to Yahoo?
Fine.
First class brain using in the wrong direction. I am more than convinced that these are low-hanging fruits for the teeming youths to come and say, yes, this is the easiest way. Why should I want to go to school when I can just go and kidnap one or two people and I'll get people to pay ransom? Let's go to the root. The root is that the country is not working, and we must restructure this country. We must break this thing down. We must sit around the table. Perhaps the kidnappers too will come on the table and come and tell us, okay, all right, this is exactly what we want and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Thank you very
yes,
much.
this is what we need to do to stop all these things. And let's begin to lead by example, please.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Akin Fatunke. And we've been speaking with him. And also we had Ola Daniels. Barrister Olawale Ola Daniels. Yeah. Olayinka, beg your pardon. Olayinka Ola Daniels, who joined in the conversation as well. And we also did speak with Mr. Babatunde Abdulaziz. And we must thank these gentlemen for joining in the conversation today. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into sports. I beg your pardon, did I say sports? Business first. Before we get into sports, I'm eager to talk about the Super Eagles, but that'll be after business and entertainment. We'll be back in a bit.
When your morning starts